but it seems like a lot of the content creators on this platform that aren't doing any sort of political coverage whatsoever have not experienced revenue loss from advertising at all.
Thoughts on the Ad-Poclypse? There's no Ad-Poclypse going on.
I hope you find my IP address, because then I can just use my cell phone. You're going to need to geo-block all of Florida, because every day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to look for ads. And when I see ads, I'm making a video, and I'm going to make sure it's by the most vile, reprehensible shit you've ever seen in your life. You are...
Like, this is the first time that something like this has gone by. Like, to the outsider, it looks like just a normal drama thing. Like, oh, it's like about Hasan versus Destiny or something. Like, it'll probably blow over.
Exactly.
But like internally, people don't understand, and probably staff doesn't understand that, like, this is the first time that real damage has been done via advertisers.
So, does anyone remember when Hasan did that whole stream and even posted an entire video to his channel talking about how the Twitch Ad-Poclypse isn't real and that it actually was just streamers meta-farming the controversy for viral clips? Well, don't tell Hasan about all the articles that continue to be released on what seems like almost a daily basis at this point, talking about advertisers pulling out of Twitch. Because Hasan has already fooled his audience into believing that was never actually a thing. Because if the Twitch Ad-Poclypse were a thing, he would obviously have a lot of responsibility put on his shoulders for the insane shit he says and does on what seems like a daily basis at this point. And that would mean that Destiny and Dan's Crusade would have been successful, and thus Hasan would be taking an L. So, in effort to not admit to the public that Destiny got one over on him, Hasan has taken course to just pretend like none of this is even happening, and to go as far as to shine a light on a couple creators that happen to agree with him about the Ad-Poclypse, and then just smugly play those clips over and over on his stream so he could act like this is just a fact, when in reality, it just blatantly isn't.
The thing that annoyed DGG Reddit and all is the fact that Elwig said that the Ad-Poclypse would only last a month because of how important Christmas is to advertisers. Elwig is correct. Also, it doesn't even seem like there is like a full-blown Ad-Poclypse happening. There are plenty of other content creators who are saying that like their ad revenue has not even remotely gone down. Nick is fine, it seems. Kai is getting ads, it seems. Like I was saying, so we have the stock guy who was complaining about like advertising revenues going down for him, but he does talk about like news and information, so he might have been like classified with the new political designation as a consequence of doing news coverage no matter what. He did an election stream. Yeah, they're probably that could be part of the reason why he was like slapped with the news and politics designation. So that might have led to a revenue loss for him.
But I had a tag that said election because I had covered the market's reaction to the election, not politics, not personal politics, not policy. And so Friday before stream, I decided to take that tag off. I took off veteran as well, just in case. And guess what? It came back. So there's not a Ad-Poclypse. I never said there was an Ad-Poclypse. I said that I'm being affected by other people's shit. And so what did I do? I took off the election tag, and guess what happened? My money came back. So sorry, drama frogs who were like, this is an Ad-Poclypse. No, it's not.
Which is, again, unfortunate. But it seems like a lot of the content creators on this platform that aren't doing any sort of political coverage whatsoever have not experienced revenue loss from advertising at all.
Thoughts on the Ad-Poclypse? There's no Ad-Poclypse going on. Yeah, there's no Ad-Poclypse happening. None of our ad revenue has changed. None of the ad revenue of any streamer that I know has been changed. I know that there was some problems with specifically certain tags that were on Twitch that people were talking about, but none of our has had problems. Yeah. None of it. Yes, there is. No, there isn't. You know what an Ad-Poclypse means? Ad-Poclypse means the entire platform is getting shit on. Our Ferret Rescue runs off of ad revenue. Hasn't changed a dime.
Not say Voldemort's name because he will come after you. You should just sit there.
Oh, ew, Voldemort.
And be happy that I'm focused on Dan Clancy and just let me use you as the tool that you are to get to Dan Clancy. I don't give a shit about you. Just sit there and shut the fuck up. Do your terrorist propaganda. Let me get my regime change underway. And if you're lucky, you'll come out of this thing without any issues. Okay? That's what's going to happen if you're lucky. You keep fucking with me, and I'll show you what I'm about. Okay? And what I'm about is effective action in policy and outreach and activism.
So sorry, drama frogs who are like, this is an adpocalypse. No, it's not.
Okay? Did I say activism twice? I think so. You can do a lot with a single email. Okay?
There's no Ad-Poclypse going on.
You can do a lot by being genuine and talking to someone on the phone. These are things that your fans are too afraid to do because they have PTSD about the idea of talking to another person.
Now, Hasan loves to hold these guys up that agree with him and smugly replay their clips over and over every time someone makes a decent argument about the adpocalypse. But if it wasn't true, Hasan wouldn't be hedging his bets, saying that if it is real, it will only last till around Christmas. Hasan will just keep on replaying clips like this over and over to prove his point. But every time an article that comes out like this, he will just avoid it like the plague. Look, the fact is, brands are dropping out at an increased rate. We keep on seeing more and more articles drop about it, and we're already a quarter through December. So even his bet hedging about advertisers coming back in December is wrong. And the people that he's holding up on a pedestal to just prove that he's right have a fundamental misunderstanding of what the adpocalypse even is. They make it seem like it's a complete halt to advertising, when in actuality, it's just a severe reduction in the amount of ads running in the pool, thus leading to a lower CPM across the board. And the amount in which people are affected really comes down to what type of advertisements run on the type of content you make, and how many of those companies have left. So when a gamer guy or a guy that talks about stocks say that this isn't happening because of their analytics, they are missing a big part of the picture and just don't even realize that they're being pawns to portray someone else's argument. Someone that, mind you, has already leaked that his channel has been completely demonetized. And while that seems like a win, and it is for the people that don't want a double standard with the policy enforcement, Devin Nash has some pretty good points that this probably won't save Twitch, that they are probably going to have to institute more wide-sweeping policy decisions to save themselves from the advertiser bleed out.
So a bunch of us advertisers come to Twitch and say, hey, the content on your website is unacceptable. We're going to pull budget, or we have pulled budget. And so Twitch responds, okay, well now you don't have to serve ads. This type of label is common across the industry. It can help advertisers better align their ads with content that reflects brand values. The problem is, so content classification labels are actually the solution, but the problem is, well, this worked for YouTube because with YouTube, you had a situation where if you don't want to see a video or the video is offensive, not only is it demonetized, but it's also taken out of discovery and only relevant to the people that want to watch that content. So a way to understand this is like, if I'm Samsung and I advertise on YouTube, there's no universe where my ad appears next to extreme or controversial content. And this was the entire reason why there was an adpocalypse in 2017 on YouTube, because YouTube couldn't differentiate the content, and even if you were to demonetize a single video, Samsung's ad would appear on like content that was like adjacent to it. But the problem with Twitch is like Twitch is trying to implement YouTube's feature in like the most lazy way possible. But the problem is that Twitch is what's called a kingmaker system, which means that the top viewership streams always go to the top of discovery. There is a website on the internet called Pornhub, and that's a website where certain acts happen of questionable ethical and moral presence. Why don't ads run here? Like, why doesn't Samsung run ads here, right? It's not because they don't convert. Actually, they convert quite well. The reason is actually because, and then let's say that like, okay, we as PH are going to categorize our content and you can go into the category to see it. And the rest of the website will be dedicated to cute kittens, not those kind. Actual cats. Okay, now advertise, please. Why doesn't this work? It doesn't work because they have a system where if you run adjacent to the actual content that's on Pornhub, you are still, like, as an overall entity, supporting what this is. Now, in exactly the same way, if you keep Hasan Abi's stream at 20,000 viewers at the top category of just chatting or in recommended or in discovery, it actually doesn't really matter if you demonetize the stream itself because the content is still there. And so it doesn't really fix the problem.
You know, it's honestly shocking to me that Twitch essentially just blankets the same advertisements across the entire platform and just pays creators a flat CPM rate instead of the actual CPM that those advertisements are earning. The fact that they're just now creating a content classification system is crazy. Even if Hasan thinks that a form of this system kind of already exists with Twitch's tagging system, and that he would like people to believe that this tagging system is actually the whole reason behind Twitch's demonetization. Which just isn't true because the system is just barely being conceived of. Hasan just sees this as a convenient thing he could point his finger at and be like, see, it's not actually my fault, you guys. When in reality, Twitch wasn't using this tagging system to compartmentalize advertisements. At least, not until recently. At least, not until the 50 millionth time Hasan's clips went viral. Now, they're using it as a building block for the content classification system that they're trying to build. But Hasan wants to conveniently leave out the fact that he is probably the reason that they're even doing that. And something tells me that Twitch fully demonetized Hasan's channel simply till they could get this system up and running properly. And once it is up and running properly, something tells me that they'll probably remonetize Hasan's channel. Then watch as the commie all of a sudden has a sudden change of heart and starts running advertisements again. And I bet the excuse he'll come up with as to why he's running ads again is because of some sort of new Twitch contract. Honestly, I can see it now. Bookmark it, clip it, save it for later. But come on, with people like Hasan, I can see why Devin Nash thinks that politics should be banned from the platform as a whole. People like Hasan have put the platform in a really bad position where they just can't win no matter what they do. While I don't agree that politics should be banned as a whole, I can see where Devin Nash would come up with a thought like that.
At all. I'm guessing that the reaction from the community that's currently angry, probably they don't feel like it's fixed. And if they don't feel like it's fixed, it's because they're correct. Actually, content classification labels are a pretty good step, but advertisers will not be satisfied with that. Just like they weren't satisfied with it on YouTube, you need to actually deprioritize the content in terms of discovery, which goes back to my nuclear option. Either you ban it all or you let it all through. If you ban it all, you've got to drop out all of the other political broadcasters and people right and left. And if you allow it, maybe you have to force everybody into that particular category. You have to remove that category from discovery. And then you have to unban certain malcontents like Destiny or other people that have been banned and throw them all in the dumpster that is the new politics category. But you cannot do a half measure. That will not suffice. So advertisers will continue to leave or probably won't come back.
Yeah, think about it. With Twitch being a live streaming first platform, they have a serious problem. They are essentially completely relying on people self-reporting their content. Because with YouTube, you have the similar self-report system for approving your video for monetization. But that doesn't stop people from lying, and they do all the time. But that's where YouTube has a secret solution. They take this self-report and compare it against a transcript of everything that you said in the video that they've had some AI analyze and judge what you were saying. Because think about it, with everything being said on Twitch happening live, you have a unique problem because you can't really do that in the same way. So they essentially rely on this self-report even more than YouTube. But then again, you wouldn't need any of this if the Ad-Poclypse wasn't real. Because remember, Hasan is still under the impression that the Ad-Poclypse isn't even a thing. and that it was just fake controversy made by streamers that are just trying to come up with some viral clips to get in the ecosystem. When in reality, this is probably the biggest hit to Twitch's advertisers since the inception of the platform.
Like, this is the first time that something like this has gone by. Like, to the outsider, it looks like just a normal drama thing. Like, oh, it's like about Hasan versus Destiny or something. Like, it'll probably blow over.
Exactly.
But like internally, people don't understand, and probably staff doesn't understand that, like, this is the first time that real damage has been done via advertisers, and like that this is as you say, an existential threat to the platform. The closest equivalent, and that's why I made that equivalence in my tweet, was the Ad-Poclypse in 2017 was pretty equivalent to this, but that was like an existential threat for YouTube. Truly, the argument was that like hateful content was showing up against, like, basically the result was if you have extremist content on any side, it's showing up next to an ad for like Mazda. And like that's just not okay, right? That was the same. It was a different way we got there, but we had the same problem. And YouTube was like all hands on deck. And I think like people don't remember it because it was it was so long ago. But like there was a real question mark if like YouTube was going to make it through. Like anybody at Google at that time would tell you that like it was like, I don't know.
Devin Nash runs an ad agency, and it isn't even a question to him whether or not there's an adpocalypse happening on Twitch, because he knows there is. Because this is literally his business. This is what he does for a living. He actually runs a company dealing with this sort of stuff, so his opinion on it holds a lot more weight than some random streamer that Hasan finds and decides to run their clips on repeat simply because they agree with him. Go ahead, Hasan. Keep on propping up the guys that think the sky is green and the grass is blue. It really makes you look good, dude. But I think the question is, with Hasan caught up in the middle of this and Twitch losing millions of dollars of advertisers, why hasn't the CEO properly responded? Does he think this is just going to blow over with time? Does he not think that Hasan will just continue to put his foot in his mouth over and over and continue to give these people ammunition? I don't think that's going to happen. And Dan shows no signs of letting up.
And he's like a fucking pussy that does nothing to protect them, does nothing to anything. Fall on your fucking sword, you dumb piece of shit.
I mean,
like, you're shit at your job, obviously. You're incompetent. Like, he had meetings today all day with advertisers. All day. That's what he did.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was like, hey, we're pausing our ads. We're not going to keep going. Maybe some of them were like, never again. Some of them were like, until you give us an amazing plan. That's what he was doing all day today. And this dumb motherfucker thinks he can salvage it.
He probably thinks he can. Yeah.
I can't wait, Dan. I hope you find my IP address, because then I can just use my cell phone. You're going to need to geo-block all of Florida, because every day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to look for ads. And when I see ads, I'm making a video, and I'm going to make sure it's by the most vile, reprehensible shit you've ever seen in your life. You are you will not beat me, okay? There is no chance. Just resign before it gets any worse.
Sheesh, yeah. Dan isn't stopping anytime soon. And let's be real, with Hasan streaming on Twitch, he's gonna have an endless amount of ammunition to use against Twitch and its advertisers. I honestly think the only way to fix all of this is to drop Dan Clancy as the CEO and to permanently ban Hasan. Then you could try to institute a proper content classification system if that's even possible for a live streaming platform. The question of whether or not there is an adpocalypse on Twitch isn't even up for debate at this point, regardless of what Hasan tries to say. It's 100% happening. Alright guys, I said my bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to watch more content like this, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right here.